and welcome to a Passing into the Future. I'm your host, Brady Vernon, and on this podcast we'll speak about the 2018 NFL Draft Quarterback Prospect. Let's start first with Lamar Jackson, the number one guy on my board. The reigning Heisman Trophy winner from Louisville. It keeps improving all 3 years he's been at the school. The guy can make a lot of tight windows on the throws. He does struggle with accuracy at times, but is improving on that from last year, already up to 62%. Deep balls he can miss a lot. People are going to think he's just a run-first quarterback because he creates so much plays out of the pocket. But that's not him. He can make NFL tight windows. His supporting cast is very weak, which is why he struggles in big games such as against Clemson. I think he has all the tools to make an NFL-ready quarterback. Next up, let's talk about Sam Darnold, the USC poster boy, who coming in this season was the overall number one prospect on most people's boards. He's come out and struggled this year. He already has as many interceptions as he did all of last year. His arm velocity just seems to be his weak point. In some throws, he just doesn't have enough strength on the ball to get into the tight windows, and it's reeling into more interceptions and poor decisions. Yes, he can be clutch, and in crunch time he's super good, but he hasn't been playing well enough to get blowouts as USC has been struggling this year. We'll stay in LA as we talk about Josh Rosen, the UCLA quarterback, who at times makes very, very dumb decisions, but he's the only reason why UCLA is in most games because of how talented he is with his arm. He can make NFL-type throws, he can win you games, but he can also lose games. He's almost like an Eli Manning type kind of guy. He struggles from the deep ball, but he keeps improving and when he's healthy. And so that's why I believe he's number 2 behind Jackson right now. Next we have the 2 Oklahoma quarterbacks with Baker Mayfield at OU and Mason Rudolph at OSU. Mayfield is insanely accurate, but he needs chaos and sometimes does not have the good pocket awareness when to throw the ball away and tries to do way too much. And that's his biggest feat. He can be a West Coast offense type of quarterback in the NFL because he has the arm to do so. And then there's Mason Rudolph, who is the biggest wild card in this to me because he's bad under pressure. He's an air raid offense, but he sometimes looks like one of the best quarterbacks in the class. Only time will tell with him as we get further into the season. And then there's Washington State's Luke Falk, who I think is right now a day 3 kind of guy. Who, yeah, you can make him into something, but he's just so inconsistent on NFL-ready type of throws. And he also is an air raid offense where he doesn't really have to see that many tight windows. So he's going to be a developmental guy, maybe a backup in the NFL, but I don't see very much from him. Especially in the USC game, yeah, he made a lot of good throws, but it's not as consistent throughout the whole season that they need to be. And then there's Wyoming's Josh Allen, who a lot of talk in the NFL says that a lot of people believe he's an NFL first-round talent, which I just don't see. He has the tools of the trade. He sometimes has 1 or 2 throws a game where it's like, wow, he really can be something. But the tools don't result. Like, yeah, he does not have a good team around him at Wyoming, but when he plays with Power 5 school, he's just very bad. He only has a 55% completion rating, and it's just bad. It's not like first-round material. It's like a day 3 kind of guy. And so he's the biggest question mark to me, as in, yeah, he has the tools, but he needs to start actually performing for him to even consider to come out in the draft this year. Now that we're past the prospects, let's talk about the teams that would need one. The 49ers will probably need one next year. Get Kyle Shanahan, your guy. Move on from Brian Hoyer. The Giants, who look to be in a position for a top 5 pick. Like, let's get someone new after Eli Manning. Let's do a full rebuild in New York. Another one would be the Chargers moving on from Phillip Rivers because they look to be very bad. Carson Palmer and Bruce Arians might be done in Arizona. New start there in Arizona. Then there's maybe teams like the Redskins, what they do with Kirk Cousins. The Saints if Drew Brees moves on. Obviously the Jets, but they're playing their way out of the top 10 with 3 wins already through 5 weeks. Steelers, depending on Big Ben. Blake Bortles struggles in Jacksonville, might warrant a pick there. So there's a lot of quarterbacks and a lot more teams than quarterbacks that look available. So we'll see. I will see you next time.